Greetings. Thank you for joining us today for an EarthEcho STEMExplore virtual career connection featuring Dr. Violeta Anaya Zamora. My name is Casey. I'm a programs manager here at EarthEcho International. Now, here at EarthEcho, we are a global nonprofit founded on the belief that youth have the power to change our planet. Reaching more than 2 million people in 146 countries, we provide original content, immersive experiences, and trusted resources to empower young people to become leaders and problem solvers in their communities and around the world. Today, we are joined by one of our exceptional Youth Leadership Council members, Haley, and she is going to moderate today's live event. Haley is a 19-year-old science student at the University of Melbourne, Australia. There, she is hoping to major in ecology and evolutionary biology with a side focus of zoology and environmental politics and management. Recently, her environmental conservation efforts were recognized in the 2017 Margaret Andrews Memorial Prize for Leadership and Citizenship. So take it away, Haley.
Thanks, Casey. We are so excited to have students from all over the world joining us as we learn about exciting and sustainable careers in science, technology, engineering, and math. This live event is part of STEMExplore, EarthEcho's program that brings inspiration to life by telling the stories of dynamic female professionals in STEM careers during live virtual career connections. We want to thank our founding sponsor, United Technologies, for their support of women in STEM. We'd also today like to welcome our friends at Jefferson High School in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. We'd also like to welcome our friends at FAU Pine Jog After School in West Palm, Florida. Welcome to both of you. We're so excited to have you here. Of course, we also want to welcome everyone tuning in as well. Just a reminder that you can send in questions at any time via the chat, and we will break throughout today's presentation to answer your questions. Feel free to start typing questions in the chat space and we'll be sure to answer those as we go along. So let's get started. Please join me in welcoming today's STEMExplore mentor, Dr. Violeta Anaya Zamora. Violeta is a sustainability development superintendent in a gold mine in Mexico and is responsible for determining how businesses and organizations can operate without jeopardizing future operations. In her work, Violeta looks at sustainable practices in her communities, assesses environmental risks, develops plans for policies and practices. All the work that Violeta conducts has the goal of environmentally responsible mining. So welcome, Violeta. Can you tell us more about yourself and what you do?
Hi, everyone. I'm Violeta. I'm from Mexico, and I'm so happy to be here with you. And of course, I want to tell you what I'm doing here and what I am for you. So let's start with this. Well, I work in a gold mine in Mexico, and we are a huge team that there are more biologists and another environmental engineers, and we help to the operation comply with national and international environmental standards, and also with all these programs for communities, kind of social responsibility. In my case, I work with the community relations team, and we carry out environmental and social projects that promote responsible mining and communicate the environmental achievements of the operation. So we are located. The next slide, please. Our site are located at southern Mexico. It's a nice place, but the weather here is very, very hot. So right now we are 36 or 37 Celsius degrees outside. That is more or less 95, 96 Fahrenheit degrees. So it's so hot outside. But fortunately we have some air conditioner systems, but the most of our job is outside, so all the time we are sweating a lot. Yeah. So well, this is that I actually doing, and what I'm doing in this place with all this team. Basically, I lead some projects. mainly regarding for environmental education programs. We have programs for all ages of the communities near of us, and we do some kind of programs like reforestation, water care awareness, local biodiversity, and we look that more people are interested in these topics, and of course what like an enterprise are doing to achieving these goals. So by the moment we attend more than 2,500 and 500 children. And also we have the open house program. In this program we bring to the mind a lot of people that are interested in how a meaning works. So how the meaning works, and they usually have a lot of questions about how the gold mine works, and also they share with us their concerns about environment impacts. So this is very important for us because this program allow us to spread all our safety and environmental rules to keep this confidence in the people. So this is a very, very important program. Also, we have another kind of agreements with with other schools, especially with the University of State, Guerrero State University, that we are hanging with them a program for water quality monitoring. That the goal with this activity is involve as many citizens as possible to try to know. We are trying to know how is the water quality outside the mine. We have Balsas River, so near of the mine, and this was a very big concern about what is the impact on this river of our unit. So so we are hanging with the university this program, and also we promoting a culture of water care in the localities. So it's a very interesting program. And we also have some events with communities that promote physical and cultural events for children, and many other activities to enhance the principal activities, economical activities in these communities. So it's a huge team that we are working with these programs with topics like gender, like environment, agriculture, and a lot of topics. So how all this looks like in reality? Well, I prepared a small video with some images of all this work that we are doing here. So we can run it. Well, that is a small presentation about what all that I said before looks like. But maybe you are wondering how I get here. So you were asking that why a biologist are working in a place like mine. And I want to tell you how I decide to become a biologist. And well, it's a long story, but I will try to short it. So, well, I born and grew up at Mexico City. And as you can see in the next slide, it's a place with a a huge place, a lot of buildings. And as you can say, we don't have enough green sites, parks, or whatever. So when I was a child, I liked a lot to be outside, running in the bicycle, or all that kind of things. All the time I was outside at home. And it was funny because in those years we don't have internet, and we don't have a lot of things that we have now to be some entertained. Now, so we have to find a way to keep our time occupied. And my father all the time came at home with these videos. All of you know this logo. All you know how what kind of videos are these. So my siblings and I grow up with watching these videos. So every week we have a new video. And I was thinking all the time that probably that people that works or make that videos, they're just getting fun. And I never imagined that could be a real job. So I think that maybe now we have more options. We have Animal Planet, we have Discovery Channel, and we have a lot of things. But in those years, I only know National Geographic. So that was so interesting because we have a new video every time, and it was so inspiring. It was so inspiring because every time we want to go outside and find something new with my siblings and friends and wherever. The magazines also was so interesting. Watch all these pictures and say, oh, there's a lot of magic places outside. And I remember on a special day that my father brought home a big encyclopedia about wildlife. That those books that you can see at the picture. It was a huge encyclopedia about animals. And for me, I think that that day was so special because I remember with very clear that I decided, oh, all these animals in the world, and I saw the maps, and I understand that there's a lot of things outside. So I want to do this. I want to know what happened with these animals or with these places. And that was so inspiring. I think that was one of the good things that grew up without internet in those years, because there was so inspiring. So, well, that was that my free time I spent. I spent my time like with those things. And well, I had the fortune also that my grandparents lived outside the city. I spent all my summers, all my Christmas or every days off that we had. We spent those days in places like this. This are another state in Mexico, called it Hidalgo. And there's arid places, cold places, and I spent a lot of summers there. I had the fortune to live there a couple of years when I was a child, and all the time I was outside, finding something new, trying to find something. And it was so funny because my cousins and I usually played that we are explorers, or I all the time want to play with that. So I had the fortune to be outside all the time, to get this contact with nature. And every time I was more interested in find a way to be in those places when I grew up. So I had the fortune to be in these places and also in hot places like the next slide. And for me, it was so interesting how in the same country we can have different weathers. And I all the time ask, why the sky is blue? Why here is so cold? Why here is so hot? Why we don't have these animals here and this have when we have another kind of animals here? I was a very asking girl. So but fortunately my parents inside me or invited me all the time to find these answers in the books with the teachers. And in those years it was more complicated to find a role model to ask all the things that we know. So also I realized that every time that I go to these places are more devastated. We have a lot of pollution, deforestation. We have a lot of environmental problems that I realized even that when I was growing up. So I realized that I want to do something related with this, and I decided to find a career that allowed me to be part of this of the solution of this problem, because I like a lot to be outside, and I have the hope that more people enjoy these things. So it was complicated because in those years I didn't know a lot of scientists people, so it was complicated to find which career I have to choose. So once I remember when I was in a high school, they gave us a lot of options. We had a program for students that allow us to be part of a research team, like a junior research team. And I had I enrolled in this program, and I have a lot of options. And I fell in love of biology. So I said that was the kind of scientist that I want to be. And also I remember on a conference with a huge scientist in Mexico called Julieta Fierro. She's an astronomist. And I remember with a lot of energy, that all that energy that she spread in her conference, and said, be a scientist is the most coolest thing ever. And I decided to study biology. You can see at the images all my schools. The university, the main university in Mexico, UNAM, is the most important university in Mexico. I did my studies there. Also, I get my master's degree in arid zones, ecosystems, and the north of Mexico. Then I go back to Mexico City and try to make a research with anthropologist team, but I quit because I realized that I need more field work. But I learned a lot about social science, because I realized also that we need more interdisciplinary teams, and I realized that we need to understand also how to work with all the society. So it was a very, very good experience be in this social program with anthropology, social anthropology program. And I learned a lot there. But I decided to continue my PhD in natural science, focus in endangered species and how people can help with the recovery of these endangered species, as jaguars mainly. And there was a lot of good experiences. We was watching for some animals and basic ecology of animals. And that was a very, very good experience. Every time I get more and more questions and more ideas that I want to do with all the information that we have, because I think the information is the most important things to make decisions. So also, not only I want to know just for me, I want to know because I want all that information. We need more ideas and public policies to use that information. So fortunately, meanwhile I was doing all my academic studies, I also was working in projects related with mining and industry, and a lot of things that allow me get information about what enterprises needs. So what private sector needs, and it's very interesting that there are a lot of companies that are very interested in enroll in with these projects, and with new philosophy to get all their activities more sustainable. No, now we have a huge challenge in the world that we want to achieve the goals for sustainable development, and there's a lot of goals for that. Well, that it's good for all of us that not only governments are interested, also private sectors. So well, this is part of my journey as how I became a biologist. And well, when I'm not working or learning something new, I would like to explore the world, or at least the nearest world that I have. I enjoy a lot find new places, and all these places are here in Mexico. So as you can say, we have a lot of things. So we have deserts, we have big mountains, we have a lot of all the climates and all the ecosystems you can find here. So it's a nice experience to do that also. And I am part of a couple of organizations that promote STEM careers for girls. So I like to do the things. I'm so happy that EarthEcho team invite me again to share the experience with you again. So that is how I spend my free time, and also with my family. I love my family, and I try to get a balance with that things, the work, the family, and hobbies. So it's interesting. I need more days in my life for do that.
Don't we all?
Yeah. But
no, I think what you stated is really important, you know, balancing sustainable development with environmental protection, with community needs. And I think it's really important, your job working with industries to make sure that they have sustainable practices for nature, as well as, you know, the people who live here and the community. And I find it really important as well. Obviously, mining is such a loaded topic at the moment, and being able to make sure that it works for everyone is, I think, a really important step. So sounds like you've got a really awesome job. So we're going to go to questions now. So we have one question already from FAU Pine Jog, where they want to know if you can explain your definition of what a biologist is to you.
A definition about what? I can hear you so good.
A biologist.
A biologist. Well, a biologist is a person that literally learns a lot of life. We study the life in all the forms: plants, animals, microbes. That is the huge explanation about what a biologist do. The most common biologist that we can say at TV or whatever is like a zoologist or or marine biologist, studying sharks or that kind of things. So it's basically the definition that it's a biologist are. And I don't know, you want to add something about this?
No, I think you've covered it pretty well. Just someone who studies life in general.
Yeah.
Someone else asks, how many hours a day do you pick up trash? Do you work with any cleanup groups?
Oh, there's a lot of hours, but these activities we usually applied once a month, and there are a lot more than 4 hours, more or less. Depends that how much trash there are in the community. But the important thing with this activity is all the it's a voluntary job. So it's a voluntary job with mostly with teenagers in the zone, and we invite them. We invite all the people, but usually that attend these events are teenagers and children. So it's very interesting that they are so interested in keep clean the places. There's the hours, a lot of hours. So please don't trash your garbage everywhere, because we spent a lot of time trying to keep up, picking up.
So we got another question. So how did you get to the desert? I see there's another one of how much you get paid, but we'll address that in the second part of the presentation. So we'll get back to that question. But how did you get to the desert?
How did I get to the desert? Well, in Mexico, in the north of Mexico, in a place called Chihuahua, we have a desert called Samalayuca. And it's so easy to get there by plane and bus. It's a very nice place. Even in Samalayuca, it's even a natural reserve. So it's a very nice place. Mm-hmm.
I might jump in as well. Where are the picture of the mountains taken?
The up of the desert, we have the highest place in Querétaro State. And then the other one is in Chihuahua also. We have deserts and we have mountains and waterfalls. That is the highest waterfall in Mexico, call it Piedra Volada, or a flight stone or something like that, more than 400 meters. And then it's a nice place to be there and find some peace.
That's awesome. That looks beautiful.
The other place is in a Baja California desert with that other. So we have a lot of things to do here in Mexico. You are welcome wherever you want to come.
And somebody else asks, how many languages do you speak?
Well, Spanish is my mother tongue. English a little bit, as you can see. Some things are complicated for me, but try to do my best for you and for the requirements of the company. And I'm learning Portuguese also. So I like a lot, and I'm trying to learn. And Mexican Sign Language also. Yeah,
that's really cool.
Yeah, it's a very it's an interesting tool to communicate with deaf people and trying to share more information. And also my sister is deaf, so I learn a lot with her.
And that's also really important as well for making sure that all of the community feels like they're heard and represented.
Yeah.
I think that we'll move on to the next section of our presentation. Anybody whose questions haven't been answered yet, we will get back to them, I promise. Okay. So let's talk about some realities, for instance. So what are the pathways to get to a career like yours, and how much can someone in your career expect to make in terms of salary?
Okay, well, as a biologist, you can find a job in many areas. I have to say, in Mexico, it's so hard to find a job first of all, as a scientist, then as an environmental scientist, and it's complicated, and the salaries, usually it's complicated to find a good salaries in these areas in Mexico, but you can find job in academia and research. Most of the PhD with PhD people are involved in these areas. I loved research also, but well, I also do research here in the company for all these programs that I told you before. Also in government or private consultant, some business related environment, like new products that are related with environment, and also with NGOs. There's a lot of NGOs focused on conservation, some animals, plants, ecosystems. So there's a huge group or NGOs focused on that. The salaries, well, as a beginner, you can earn $6,000, probably $8,000 per year, dollars per year. And well, with more experience, with more academic grades, or depends the duties that have to do, well, you can earn 30,000 and more probably per year. So study gives you more opportunities to get better salary. So keep in school, girls. So and well, this is more or less how is the options here. And well, how we are working for a sustainable future. Basically, or actually in my job, we are creating programs for corporate social responsibility. All these programs that I told you before are related with this. We are trying to give to the company the best practices for the operation. Also integrating the sustainable development goals in all our activities. We are trying that all our activities are related with this, because at the end we want to show to the people that we are something about this. And also all our activities are building process to create better communities where place and environment awareness rise. We are living a very complicated moment in all the world, not only in Mexico, in all the world, about violence, about climate change, and all that kind of things. And we are trying that all our activities enhance this process to create peace and environmental awareness. So this is how we are working for a sustainable future. Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. And I might just wrap up the presentation side of things by just finally, do you have any words of advice for students who are going to be watching today?
Yeah, so let me introduce you. Well, before that, introduce some girls. I want to give you some advices. Try new things all the time. You need to be out of the box. Please get out your phones and your homes. Now it's more complicated than 20 years ago, but really try new things all the time, because you really, it's probably that you really discover that you really want to do when you grow up. So try new things. Reach out for the answers of all the things that you want to know, because we all the time we want to know how the world works. So find these answers. Now you have more tools, you have internet, we have a lot of options to find these answers, and look for that. So never be afraid to find or ask to someone something that you want to know. And the most important that I have to say, that find something you love to do, and you will never have to work a day in your life. I never I never think that I'm working. So I am enjoying my job. I love my job. And I never feel like, oh, I feel so tired and I hate my job, I want to quit, never. So I love to do it. As you can say, when I was a child, I loved to make some mood cakes, and now I get paid for that. So it's so funny. But well, I want to introduce you some girls that are helping us with all these things that I told you before. Please, girls, come on. Say hi. She's Carolina, she's Wendy, and she's Sule. They are part of the team, and some of they are local girls that are helping us with these programs. And they are saying hey to you girls. And it's a very these girls are amazing. They have a lot of energy to do the things that they have to do, and they are working with children to spread this message, and we are so proud that we can have the opportunity to give them these opportunities. So it's to me, it's very important to introduce you, because all the things that I told you before it's impossible without these girls. So that is another advice. Learn to work in a team. It's very important. It's very important to learn how to work with a team. It's very important how understand another minds, another careers, even, because here in the company we have a lot of kind of people, a lot of engineers, a lot of doctors. We have a lot of kind of careers, and it's very important that you learn how to work with them and open your minds and new ideas. So this is an extra advice for you.
Absolutely, and a massive welcome to you three as well. Welcome to the presentation. Awesome. So I think that takes us into another round of questions. So do we have any? Oh, we've got a couple popping through all at once. So somebody asked, how many places do you go to and how many team members do you have?
How many how many places did you guys do, and how many team members do you have? Okay. How many places? Well, actually, we are working with 11 communities. 11 communities. We are working with 11 communities that are near of the mine, and how many we are? Like we are 11 in all the community relations team are 11, but the mine are more than 100 or 800. So there's a lot of people, but I have to work directly with 11. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. And so we've got another question coming in as well. So what do you think are the key, you mentioned sustainable development in the first half of your presentation. What do you think is really important for sustainable development?
Why I think that it is.
What do you think is really important? What values should we have if we are trying to create sustainable development?
Okay, because we need hope for the future. That is the short answer. We are having more troubles in the world, and all these troubles are getting worse if we don't put some action on that. So the Sustainable Development Goals try to solve some of these problems, and it's very important that all universities, all governments, NGOs, all of us put some action on that. And it's very important because give us hope, I think. Give us a little bit of hope to try to get a better future for all of us. Not only for animals, not only for plants, it's for sake of all of us.
Absolutely. So we got a question coming in from the chat. Do you recycle the things that you find?
Well, I can hear you.
Recycle? Do you recycle the things that you find?
It's a complicated thing. We are trying to find someone that help us with that, because the most thing that we have is plastic. So in the place that we are, it's very complicated to find someone to help us with that. We are trying to improve some programs with these things. By the moment, one part we can recycle, not all because it's a lot, but we are trying to find the best way to do that.
Absolutely. And so you mentioned that you do a bit of research as well.
Here, we have to do some kind of research about this with all these things, because now we have the goal to present all our job in some places, because usually in companies we do some things, but never spread to the things that we do in a formal way for another audiences. And it's very important for us to get the information to do that. So with some programs like that I showed you before, we are doing some kind of research for this. So Carolina is doing a lot of job of that. We are trying to get information how the society works before apply some programs that we have, and then we have to assess how these programs works after. So she's doing a lot of things like that.
That's really awesome. Mm-hmm. And have you worked with any other industries other than mining?
Yeah, I was working with oil industry also, trying to assess environmental and social impacts, and it's has been very useful to learn about that industry also. Mm-hmm. Because usually people think that mining, oil, and industrial things in general are not concerned about the environment, and we want to know that all people knows that that really there are big and a huge concern about the impacts, and they are working a lot to enhance their efforts to prevent, to solve these problems. So there is a lot of concern about this in this industry.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And what is something that you've achieved through your job that you're really proud of?
I think that I'm really proud about the team. First of all, the team, because they understand very good what we want about these environmental programs. This is the thing. I'm very happy that all the team are aware about the importance of our job. So also that our programs are getting a good acceptance from the communities. These girls are doing a big job with that, and the people are happy with this. So they are giving to the people a new face of meaning. I think that it's very important.
Yeah, especially I feel like seeing the faces of young women and women in STEM careers who are working to make a difference, I think is a really important step as well. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We've got one more question from the chat. This is again about recycling. So the products that you find, do you reuse or recycle anything to make new things? So for example, to make robots, materials, toys, electronics, any new products?
Not like in a formal way. We trying to do these things. When we have some kind of events or activities with the children that pick up the trash and give them and invite some toys. No, we give them to they do that their own toys, but it's not in a formal way. It's part of the activities that we have. But it's an interesting idea to trying to make robots and that kind of things. Maybe could be for a camp. That's a good idea. Thank you.
Awesome. Well done, chat. Well done. Fine. But one final question, and this is for me especially, what do you hope to achieve through your work in the mining industry?
What? I can hear you, the question.
What do you hope to achieve? Do you have any goals for what you want to happen in the next 10 years or so?
Oh, it's a very complicated question. But I hope that in 10 years we achieve the. I would like to the people know that there's a lot. First of all, there's a lot of women working in in this area, because usually people think that it's in a very it's an industry only for men. So first of all, we want to show to the people that there's a big opportunity for women also. Another that as a company that we are so responsibly with the environment and with the society also. And for me, I think that the most important thing will be I can die with peace in my heart that I did the best for this, because I had the fortune to work in a lot of places with a lot of kind of projects. All these projects have been so so grateful for me. But for me now, be in this, to be in this side of the coin is very complicated. As a conservationist biologist, be in a mine it's very complicated, and it's not complicated because it's bad. It's because people think that as a biologist we have to do something against that. So it's important to me to show to the people that we need more environmental people in these places to make better decisions.
Absolutely. I just want to thank you so much for telling your story. I think it's a really important one, combining the importance of sustainable development and industry and what the community needs and wants, and balancing environment and wildlife conservation. So thank you so much for spending time talking to us today.
Thank you.
For everyone tuning in, you can keep up with Violetta's work on social media, and she was kind enough to give us her email, so you can reach out to her directly if you have any more questions.
Yeah, you can.
We also, once again, want to thank founding sponsor United Technologies for their support of women in STEM. And stay tuned to earthecho.org to find out more information about all of our exciting programs, including upcoming virtual events just like this one. We are also excited to announce a brand new STEM competition from EarthEcho International.
I'm Philippe Cousteau, and I am so excited to announce the latest program from EarthEcho International. It's called the Our Echo Challenge, and it's a new way for students to protect biodiversity and get the funding to do it. The Our Echo Challenge empowers teams of middle school students to explore their community, identify threats to local species, and then submit an idea for a project that will help to restore a healthy ecosystem. 10 finalist teams will join EarthEcho International in Washington, D.C. to present their ideas, and the top 3 teams will be awarded grants to turn their project into a reality. Go to ourechochallenge.org and join our STEM competition by submitting your plan to change the world.
As that video introduced, we're announcing a new biodiversity challenge, which is again looking at balancing innovation and social needs and environmental protection. So if any of you are interested, visit our website to submit your plan to change the world. The deadline for our Echo Challenge is March 22nd, 2020, so it's coming up quite soon. Also make sure to stay connected with EarthEcho on our social media channels given here. On behalf of EarthEcho International, we want to thank Violetta again for giving up her time to talk to us today. And thank you so much for joining.